Howdy. With this video, I want to go over the schedule real quickly and then go over the sample career essay that's up there on D2L. I'm doing this video on Wednesday, August 26th, so tonight the first two paragraphs of the career essay are due. With these first two paragraphs, I'm just making sure you're on the right track. I should have those back to you pretty quickly. For Friday, it says the full draft of the career essay is due. That's pretty quick for a longer essay like this, and we still got a component or two to add to it, like the academic plan. So I'm going to push that back to Monday, the due date for the draft. Then on Monday, the draft's due, and then I'll send out the peer reviews on Tuesday. Peer reviews due on Wednesday. Then we'll see when the final version of that career essay is due. If we need to push that back a day or two, or even maybe to Tuesday the 8th, so you can have a good Labor Day, we'll go ahead and do that. I'll send out an email with those dates. But I wanted to let you know I'm going to push that due date for the draft back a day, or back a few days, over to Monday. For the career essay, make sure you're looking at the assignment. It's on the second page of this career project handout. I'm not sure what you call them online, or link, or whatever you want to call it, document. I'm not going to go through this thing. You can read faster than I can talk, but it's going to be a 1,200 word minimum. And you're basically, it kind of says that you're researching the career, but a lot of it's just researching the college and all the requirements for the career and things like that. There is information about the career, but the whole point of this essay is to see whether you're suited for the career you're researching. And again, it's quite, you might end up with a thesis statement that says, I know what I want to do and I'm got a plan and I'm ready to go. Or you might go like, after researching this, I'm not sure, and here's why, and then get into your essay. But you have to have a minimum of 4 sources. A couple of those I send you to. One's going to be the college website you get that academic plan from. One's going to be the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Then 2 more of your choosing. The sources should be coming a little more reliable. Like with the first essay, I didn't care if you went to Wikipedia, but this one you should be getting a little more deeper into and finding good sources for your information. You're going to have a short quote, long quote, summary, and paraphrase. The MLA component of this essay is a little more involved than the first essay. Make sure you have all these punctuation. I'm most of the way through grading that first essay, and students are losing quite a bit of points by not including some of the required elements, which is not something you want to do. You want to make sure you keep those points. But once you get into the essay, make sure you're just following the outline that's given to you. This isn't as formulaic as a 5-part essay. You should go beyond 5 paragraphs. But I'm still kind of telling you what I want in each section of the essay. So make sure you're following that. Again, I'm not going to read this whole thing to you. I'm kind of going to go over this as we get into that sample essay a little bit. But make sure you're giving all this information. When I tell you to go to a particular website, make sure you go to that Bureau of Labor Statistics website. If your particular career is not on there, then email me and let me know and we'll work something out. Again, this one source is going to be for that academic plan. Another source is going to be for the Bureau of Labor Statistics, which is that BLS. And then 2 more of your own. It kind of depends on what career you're getting into and who you know. If you have a good mentor already, that person can be a resource, an interview source for this essay. But I want to go through that sample essay. It is located on the content page down here under Help Resources and Sample Essays. I think I was already there. And you're just looking for the sample career essay right here. I'm just going to go ahead and download it and open it. Might take a second. This is a sample career essay from another dual enrollment student. So some of this might hopefully give you a good guide to what I'm looking for in your essay. And there it goes. You're going to see some of the page numbers are going to start increasing quite a bit. That academic plan tends to take up a lot of space, and we'll look at that here in a second. But you see here with section 1, Joseph's going to kind of tell us, a little introduction to himself, particularly in terms of his career, why he's choosing this particular career. Why would anybody want to be an engineer? That's a lot of math and physics and calculus. And, oh my gosh. No, I was actually pretty good at math when I was in school, but I didn't want to do it for a career. But he's explaining why he does want to do this for a career, maybe what piqued his interest at the beginning. And he's going to start giving the information. What's it take to achieve this career? You got to go to school, right? And he's going to talk about UT Knoxville. I actually ended up getting accepted to Vanderbilt, so if you're reading this essay going like, wow, that's pretty good, it's like he's a real very bright student. But he's going to start talking about UTK and the courses he needs to take, and all the requirements to get into engineering school at UTK. And he's going to kind of talk about that a little bit, talk about the program. Also talks about what it takes to get that first college degree, and that's where I'm looking for that academic plan from. He's also noticed he has to account for dual enrollment and AP classes. These are going to affect that academic plan, because if you already have 15, 24 hours of dual enrollment or AP credit, that's going to really alter your pathway through college. It's kind of important to watch out for. If you're going to a smaller school, where, like, say, the nursing program only starts in the fall, that could put you off schedule a little bit. Well, you won't find that out before you go there. But he's talking about all the different requirements there. Then he gives table 1, and this is what yours should look like. Then you give what the table is. It's an academic plan for a Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering from UTK. They want the specific degree and the specific school you're looking for as a title for the table. Then he goes through each semester by semester about what he has to take. And you'll notice he's already explained why there's no English classes on here. Well, he's taking dual enrollment. And we're assuming you're going to pass your dual enrollment class here, both of them, Comp 1 and Comp 2. And giving it in the order he's going to take it. Sometimes you might just end up, if you have a lot of dual enrollment credit, you might just end up taking courses off for a semester and kind of have an easy first semester. It's not a bad idea, especially if going somewhere far away like UTK or somewhere like that, as opposed to like Northeast State. But he's just listing all the courses in the order he's going to take it, semester by semester, until he gets that degree. He has to credit that source. Be sure and you're using this as a guide. This is what it's really going to look like for a college website or a college catalog. Whoops, I accidentally hit it there. Well, wait a minute. Oh, it's the back button. It took me to the beginning. Hold on. But that's what yours is going to look like. And again, it depends where you're going to college. If you're coming to Northeast State, you'll just have probably 4 semesters here to get to your first college degree. If you're going to ETSU, UTK, somewhere like that, 4-year school, it'll take you 8 semesters or so. It's always interesting to see how that works out, whether with a dual enrollment, you can take some summer courses and graduate early too. Then he talks about the costs and how he's going to meet those costs. You can kind of see it gets expensive if you're starting to take out a bunch of student loans. Particularly if you're getting into a career that doesn't pay well. If you have $124,000 worth of student loans and you want to be a social worker, you're going to be paying off those loans for a while, right? If you're going to be a brain surgeon, you might be able to pay them off a little quicker, but you're going to have a lot more in student loans than that. And then she gets into the actual career, and that's kind of the third part of the essay, or the third section. Again, I'm not going to read this whole thing to you, but it starts getting into the pay. Whether this job's going to grow. Certain types of nursing, you're going to get a job when you graduate. They're desperate for them. Other types of nursing, maybe not so much, particularly with engineers. If they can outsource that overseas, you may be looking at some trouble finding a job. So it's good to kind of see it's growing, about as average for all occupations. Of course, COVID's going to kind of wreak havoc with all this, so we can't account for everything, obviously, but you want to see what the research says. Then he's kind of getting to very specific about where he can work. That's kind of important. If you want to work in a state in the Tri-Cities, is there going to be a job there when you graduate? How competitive is that going to be? Any upward mobility, things like that. But he's really wanting to go work at NASA, so he's kind of telling us specifically what's involved there. He's also starting to get into how he can make himself more marketable with internships and things like that. Then he's getting into the fourth section of the essay with the pros and cons of the job. Hopefully, again, how can you make yourself marketable? If you got to go to graduate school or go try and get into medical school, you're going to discuss some of the requirements to get into that. You don't need an academic plan, but what are the requirements to get into medical school? What kind of GPA do you have? What kind of other qualifications? Should you be doing internships or volunteer work or whatever you can do right now? So when you apply to medical school, you're going to have a resume that just looks so awesome, they got to take you in, right? All right. But you can kind of see he's getting into the negatives a little bit. Every job has negatives, and you kind of want to know what they are. If there's a big turnover rate, like if you're getting into education, about half of all teachers get out of education within the first 5 years. That's something you need to discuss. What are the stressors causing that? Are you prepared to deal with that? Kind of interesting to get into. But then he has his concluding paragraph. Good work status page. Use that as a guide, especially down here. This is exactly how it should look for that Bureau of Labor Statistics site. But hopefully it's a good sample essay. There's a few problems with it when you get into it, but you know, if you're looking at it with a fine-tooth comb, some places he gives some information that it's not quite clear where it's coming from sometimes. There's a good example right there. It's probably coming from this Bureau of Labor Statistics, but if you're going to do a summary like this, you want to cite the summary before you get to the long quote, then you cite the long quote. So it's not a perfect essay, but it's an awfully good one. It's a great one for you to use as a guide for your own essay. As you get into the essay this week and over the weekend, be sure and let me know if you have any questions. I'm going to stop there, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.